Hey there, YouTube fans. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Darlene. You get to look at my gnarly hands for a minute while I shuffle today. Stay tuned, y'all. I got a juicy one coming through today. Ooh, lordy, lordy. You never know what you're going to get up here. Let me get my business out of the way. Thank y'all so much for being here. I do appreciate it. I primarily do readings for deceased loved ones, but I do have a few other readings coming up that I'm going to start doing. So just, go to my channel, look around, see if something interests you. I appreciate you viewing. I appreciate everybody's time. We are all busy people. So thank you. And also thank you for liking my videos. I'm getting started here on YouTube. So, it's a kind of an uphill battle trying to get out there and get people to see these videos. And every time you react, whether that's hitting the like button or subscribing, it always helps a reader to grow their channel. But more importantly, with my readings, these messages are so narrow, it helps the messages more likely get to the families that they're meant for. Okay, so all that out of the way. Thank y'all. Oh, no, one other thing. Stay tuned to the end because I have some good news I will be sharing that I'm going to be doing something special here shortly. So y'all keep that good energy coming my way. I appreciate y'all so much. All right, Spirit saying the deck is ready. Now today, juicy. Oh, I need to apologize, y'all. I'm sorry, I didn't get my nails done yet. I couldn't get them done till later today. So for those girls who get their nails done, there's a bit of a struggle right here toward the day or two before you got to get them done. They'd be some ugly looking nails. So I hope you will not judge me. Anyway, Lordy. Okay, here we go, y'all. I have a gentleman coming through today. And I had the hardest time getting really connected to his energy. So the way this works, I presume for all psychics, but for me certainly, I have a process that I do. But sometimes if it's like, what's a good analogy? Like for those of you old enough to remember the TVs, and when you would have static, it would go bzz, bzz, and the picture would go faded or it would look blurry. Well, it's kind of like that, and so I asked my spirit team to dial in that signal a little bit clearer for me, and so I had to do a lot of that today with this one. I'm not sure why that is. Could be just me. Maybe I just needed to meditate longer. Who knows? But then when I got into the energy, I realized what was going on, and that is that there are other. Let me put this. I want to see. There are other energies that are trying to prevent this reading from coming through. Clearest way I can put it. Okay, so here I am, nevertheless, bringing through this message. So I do hope that it reaches the family that it's meant for. They show me a man, and he was not a teenager, y'all, when you hear what I'm going to say. He lived at home with his mother. It's kind of that, well, I won't say that because it sounds judgmental and I don't mean it to. Let's just say he worked with computers. He was on a computer. That was probably his job. I don't know if his job was working on computers or he worked on a computer, but his life was like about the computer. He also shows me that he was isolated. He was a loner. He was different. He was content in his own company, but lonely at the same time. But he didn't. I think he felt he didn't have the social skills, or he really didn't have the social skills to go out and make friends. He just was one of those people that would rather stay home and sit on the computer and do whatever. But he had one good friend that would come over, and he and his friend would play games together, whatever. I don't see what game that was, but they were on the computer and would play games together. Now, remember, I said this was not a teenager. So when I'm saying that, most people, including myself, would picture teenagers or kids. No, this was a grown man in his, I don't know, 30s, could have been 40, but I'm going to say 30s anyway. And this was his life, lived with his mother. Now, his mother knew that he was different. She probably had at some point encouraged him to try to get out and live on his own, but at the same time, she understood, because he was so different, how difficult that was going to be. She wasn't clueless about the situation, in other words. She wasn't trying to hold him back, trying to keep him to herself, so to speak, in any way. She just saw how different it was for him, and how, because he was different, it was difficult for him to get out and socialize and live a normal life. Okay. Now, I'm also getting a secondary story. So sometimes these messages, and this is confusing, I know, and I apologize, but it's just what it is. Sometimes it's hard for me to separate. So I don't know if this is two different stories or it's the two stories for the same person. Again, sometimes when it's like dialing in a radio station, and sometimes you can hear faint signals. You can hear two different radio stations playing at the same time. If you've had that experience, neither one are coming through real clearly, but you can hear them both. So that could be happening. And so the other story is, bearing in mind this could be a separate story for somebody else, or it could be also this young man, that I'm feeling an illness. Okay, I'm feeling an illness that he had, and I'm seeing him hooked up with tubes, like a transfusion or something. The word that came to me was leukemia, something like that, or that he had and had overcome, or was in recovery from, was on the other side of, so to speak. So that could also have been why it was so difficult for him to try to go out in the world and have a life, because he had this illness, if this is the same person. And back to the mother. So the mother knew how difficult this journey was for him, and she was in complete acceptance of him being in her home, in her home. She didn't mollycoddle him. She didn't, I'm sure y'all know what I mean. That can happen. But she wasn't like that. She just was in acceptance that this was the way it was. He was who he is. The situation was what it was. And she just accepted it. So kudos for her for, being that way and having a big open heart. Excuse me, had to get a little sip of water. Now, to the juicy part. And for those of you who don't know, I'll go ahead and pull these just so y'all have something to look at. I don't look at these cards until I'm done delivering this initial channel message, and then I look at the cards. And I don't know if these cards are going to be for you, the viewer, the family, whoever this is meant for, or it's more about the story of the person I'm bringing through. I don't know that till I turn them over, so we all get to be surprised. Now, the juicy part. I asked him how he died. Sometimes they don't tell me that because it's not relevant to the message they want to bring through. They'd much rather people focus on how they lived than how they died. That's most spirit. Most people that come through to me are here to talk about what's going on currently so that they are still with you in their lives. But sometimes there are more difficult passings or kind of unfinished business, and that's what this is. And I tried my best not to go there. I kept thinking, well, that's just my mind jumping in there, So I finally said, all right, this is what it is. It just kept coming back over and over again. He's telling me, I kept asking him, how did you die? How did you die? It seemed relative. It seemed like I needed to know that for the story. And he kept saying, something I drank. something I drank. Well, I couldn't see more. I couldn't see past that. I couldn't see the scene so much as just him sitting. Here's what I did see. He's sitting there in front of the either TV or computer, like in a chair, like a lounge chair or something, by himself in a dark room. And he has a drink over here on the end table. And he's just drinking his drink, just like any normal evening, any other day of the year. It was no big deal, right? It's not intentional. He didn't, I mean, it was something about something that was in the drink. Now, here's the complicated part. I don't know if he had an allergy to something and someone knew that, or if, I just don't get the sense that it was out and out poisoning. But there is a man showing up in this reading that is responsible for this young man's death. And that's why this reading had to happen today. So, this man is showing up as a romantic interest of his mother. And apparently he was burdened by the whole business with the son. He wanted the son out of the way. He wanted, to have the mother to himself. And he decided to take things into his own hands. And so there was something put into this young man's drink. Again, I don't know if it caused an allergic reaction, if it caused an interaction with some medication that he was on. I don't get the sense, again, that it was outright poison, but it somehow caused a reaction that caused his death. He wants to bring that through because I don't think it was, I don't think anybody knew it. I think people thought it was either a reaction, just part of the progression, possibly a relapse of whatever was going on with his health, or it was just a freak thing, or I can't really get much more specific than that. But what I'm feeling is this man put something in there deliberately. In other words, if y'all don't get the drift yet, he was murdered. So, as reality TV as that sounds, it is what it is, and I bring through what I get. So, he's just making the point that nobody knew. And his friend, he is bringing his young friend back into the story now. He's saying his this is like his buddy, whatever, his guy friend that he would play games with and so forth. He suspected, this young man suspected, but he had no proof. He had nothing to go on other than a suspicion. And I don't know that he even ever brought it up to this young man's mother. So pray to goodness this reaches whoever it's supposed to. And it could just be this message is for that young man, because he's acknowledging that you knew. He's acknowledging that he valued your friendship very, very much because you were the only friend he had. And so it could just be that simple. It could be just saying, I see that you see, I know that you know, and in addition to that, I so valued your friendship during my lifetime. Could just be that. Could also be that this starts something, somebody looking into something. I don't know. I never know what happens to these readings. I just put them out there and let the spirit team take over what needs to happen with them. And they are responsible for getting them to who they need to go to. That's not my job. My job is to sit here at my table and do these readings. So let's see what these cards have to tell us here today. Let's see what they're speaking of. All right, now y'all, please bear with me because, like I said, this is live and I have to just tune into this energy. So let me be quiet for a minute. And y'all, I don't know, twiddle your thumbs or something. Play with your dog, whatever. Your cat. All right, this message is for the young man. I had a suspicion. Let me see what's at the bottom of the deck. Oh, okay, 2 different messages here. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, that's very interesting. Don't you love it when readers say, "Oh, that's very interesting," and then they just don't tell you what's interesting? I'm going to. Hold on. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So, also, I don't read these cards in the traditional way that you might see a reader doing a love reading or something. They give, because of the context of the kind of reading this is, I may get completely different messages. So just let this be a pretty picture that you're looking at for now. Oh, so many messages. Okay. Slow down, team, please. Slow it down. He wants to acknowledge this young man by saying he felt like you gave more to the relationship than he did. He realized that it was not an even friendship, or he felt this way. Whether you felt that way or not, I can't say. He felt like you were always giving more to him than he was able to give to you. And he's just wanting to thank you for that gift, for the gift of your friendship. He knows that you had other choices you could have made, and that you had other friends, frankly. In fact, I think he felt like sometimes you were doing a special, how to say that, like you were consciously giving him time, because not just because you were his friend, but because you knew he had no one else who would come by and visit him. That was a gift that you gave to him, when you could have chosen to go and be with other people and other friends. So that's one message. He's also saying that he saw that you had to defend this friendship with, or that's one way of putting it. There were times where, again, you could have been chosen to go and be with other friends, and they would tease you, or they would give you a hard time. Why do you go over there and spend time with that weirdo? Why do you go over there? You know, it's just, he's weird. He won't come out of his house, whatever. And I think that you were times when you defended him against those people, because you knew what you knew. You knew this man wasn't wired the same as quote unquote normal people, and you defended him. And he's again acknowledging you for standing up for him, for caring enough about him to invest in that friendship. 3 of Pentacles, it can be collaboration, and that's what he's saying. You took the time to get to know him and invest in him. All right, now that's one message. Ooh, this is going to be a longer reading than I thought, but what do I care, I don't care. Yeah, there's another message that's coming through. I feel like, all right, let me do this. Let me sure this is still on the camera. I feel like this is 2 different people's messages here, so let me do this. I don't know if y'all can see these or not. Okay. All right. I feel like this message now is meant for the mother, his mother, the young man's mother. That obviously when he died, you were, so I've got 2 messages here. Obviously you were heartbroken. But I'm also getting the message that this man that caused this young man's death, that I think you were in a romantic relationship with, as I said. I don't know what happened. I don't know if you broke up with him. I think that was the case. You broke up with him. Yeah. That you saw the truth. Oops, just jammed my finger. You started to, oh, he's correcting me. You started to see his true colors, the truth of who he was. Still don't think you understood what he did. You didn't know that, but you started to see his true colors. So you broke up with him. You got all in your head about it. You started having, excuse me, you started questioning a lot about it. You were in your head about it. Well, here's this man. I'm not a spring chicken anymore, and this man who really wants to be with me, but and this could be going on now, by the way. I don't know when this young man died. Typically, spirits don't come to me right after their death, so this could have been a while. So you could have been in a relationship, and this could be happening to you now, or it could have happened. But he's acknowledging the struggle that you went through in that relationship and also in his passing, the son's passing, because he knew how much you loved him, and basically you dedicated your life to him. He knows the depth of your love, and he's saying thank you for pretty much giving up your life while he was here to devote to him and to accepting him for who and what he was, because he knows you made lots of sacrifices. So there's two stories here. And then secondly, this man who caused this, I think you started seeing, you have or are seeing the true colors of this man, and you started to heal. You started to heal from the heartbreak of losing your son. You started to heal from this, I'm going to say, toxic relationship. And he's saying, and you've put an end to it, or you're about to. You just did, or you're about to put an end to relationship with a King of Wands, essentially. Yeah, but you got tired of whatever was going on here. You got tired of it, and you were, I could go on into the deck, but you were looking at what your investment had been versus what his investment had been, and you were seeing, an uneven give and take. And I think you started to suspect that maybe he was after your money. I don't know if you just had money on your own. I don't know if this young man was assured and you got money when, I don't know what that was. That could have been a factor. Maybe that's why he did what he did. Maybe there was some monetary gain to be had here and he was after your money. That certainly could have been. But you're moving on from that. Ten of Wands is an end. That is an end to that. You are moving on. Oh yeah, the cards just keep telling the story here. You are moving on. You're ready to put down this heavy, heavy burden. And you are moving on. This is a card of, fast movement, willpower, determination. You are moving on to get what are you moving on toward or from to attain? You're going to be single, free. You've got your own money. You're independent. Yes, that's wonderful messages there, and I'm very happy to hear that. So, two messages. Now, I want to, since this is an unusual kind of reading, let me see here what deck. I want to ask how to phrase this question, Spirit. I want to ask, will this man get his due, so to speak? Well, will this come to light? How about that? Will this man's actions come to light? And if so, any advice? That's what I want to ask. Because I don't know about y'all, but that's what I'm wondering, Does he just walk away scot-free? What happens, Okay, so if anybody out there's watching this and you know who this is, please share it. If it's not your family, or please share it. You never know. I know police don't watch these things, but you never know. Somebody who's a relative of a policeman might, so I thought that was odd. Let's look into that. You never know. Spirit works in such mysterious ways. I can't even begin. All right, let's see. No, they're saying bottom of the deck. Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, all right. There you go. I think that tells the story. This man is having extreme anxiety over what he did. Extreme anxiety. Spirit's weighing on him heavy. I mean, Spirit's probably kicking his ass. Excuse my bad language. Kicking his arse, as my friend used to kicking his arse. Okay, yeah. He is, he's no longer productive or fertile in his life. I think he's, you know, this card can mean a lot of different things. It can be imbalance. It can be, hang on a minute. Hang on one second, because okay, I just realized something, y'all. When I shuffle, sometimes y'all see the deck is reversed. I want to see what this looks like, because I'm having the feeling I should have read it like that. Yeah, it doesn't change the meaning here. Anxiety, sleepless nights. Yeah, like one of my favorite tarot readers, Steve's Love Tarot. If y'all haven't watched him, he's a hoot. And a fabulous energy reader. But anyway, what he says about this card is this means up at 2 in the morning with a bottle of whiskey pacing in the kitchen. That's that's what that is. So yeah, Spirit's kicking his butt. And I question this because, no, I'm just going to read the energy. To heck with what the card says. Okay, y'all. I've never had a message like this, so bear with me. I'm trying to think how to say this in a nice, clean way. This person has lost their fertility in life because of the anxiety over what he did. So he's not able to function as he once did. I hope that y'all can read between the lines. All right. Because of this anxiety over and the guilt over what he did. And now I feel like his money's bad. He's, you know, he feels like he's living hand to mouth. His heart was broken because he wanted this woman for all the wrong reasons. Yeah, that's confirming to me that he was after her money too, I think. The wife, the mother, excuse me. He was after your money, I believe. Yeah, he fought to the bitter end, but in the end, yeah, he's still thinking back. In the end, you put it into it. He's still thinking back, nostalgic, wondering, you know, gee, if I could only done this, maybe I could have done that better. But no, Spirit is, again, kicking his, this is a couple of meanings. He's kicking his butt. It's saying, the question I asked was, is he going to get his just due? And this Tower tells me yes. He's already, Spirit's already working on him. I don't know that this, I don't see the Justice card here, but this tells me one way or the other, karma will find you. Karma will find you. I'm just going to leave it there, because it doesn't mean necessarily that somebody's going to take this to, you know, a legal situation and the man will go to jail eventually. It doesn't mean that. It does mean, however, that he is now in the dark night of the soul, realizing what he has done and paying for it. And life, karma will do that. Karma will do that. Karma will do that. Okay, y'all, that's longer reading than I had anticipated, but I'm glad I got through all that. So many messages here all the way around. So, all right, now, if you stay to the end, thank you very much. I am proud and happy to announce that YouTube has granted me access to supers now, and so that means I can do super chats and super thanks and all that good stuff. So if y'all like the reading, you know, anything you donate, whether it's hitting that like button or subscribing, I'm very grateful for. But what this means, and y'all let me know in the comments how you feel about this. I really have been thinking about doing a reading, a live chat reading where y'all can ask me questions. So if you like that idea, now that I can do that, send me a comment and, write a comment of this and tell me what you're thinking about. What would you like to ask? I'm not saying I'm going to answer that question, but what kind of things would you like me to do in terms of a live chat? So that is what I want to hear from you about, and I just need to say thank you. Y'all, thank you if you stay to the end. I'm very, very grateful again. I appreciate you giving me your time. Again, I know we're all busy people, so thank you so much, and stay tuned. And I never know who's coming through, so I might be reading for your deceased loved ones, and it's always a surprise to me. So thank you all so very, very much. I appreciate you, and I wish you many, many blessings. Take care. Bye.